Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out the Zephyr song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, of course featuring one of my all-time favourite guitar players, which is John Frusciante. Beautiful, beautiful guitar playing in this song. Relatively simple for the most part. Some of the riff can get a little bit relentless, and I'm going to show you how John plays it, which I find a little difficult. He uses kind of predominantly first, second, and third fingers for the chord, for little triad grips. I find that a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to show you his way and the way that I do it that feels a little bit more comfortable. We're going to have a look at the solo as well, but again, it's one of those sort of Frusciante solos that you really should have a go at working out yourself first, because it's pretty simple, really. It's not difficult to play, it's not difficult to hear, there's no funny stuff going on, so you shouldn't have too much trouble working it out on your own, but I will show you how it's done. So let's get to a close-up and check it out one step at a time. Okay, so let's start off by looking at the intro, which is this. I promised you I'd look at my fingering as well as the fingering that John Frusciante uses, so you can choose which you find better for yourself. The whole riff is just played on strings 5, 4, and 3. So the whole intro I'm just going to be talking about the notes that are on the 5th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string. And the rhythm is the same all the time as well, which is 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the notes 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. You can hear it's that same rhythm all of the way through, okay? So the first chord is 12, 10, 12. I think both John and I would use 3rd finger, 1st finger, little finger. Then 10, 9, 10. Again, both John and I would use 3rd finger, 2nd finger, little finger for that chord. Now the next chord is an E minor chord. Now John would tend to use his 3rd finger there on the 7th fret, 2nd finger on the 5th fret, 1st finger in the 4th fret. This is an E minor triad. I prefer to use my little finger. It feels a lot more comfortable for me to use the little finger most of the way through these chords, but again, so it's totally up to you whether you use 3, 2, 1 or 4, 2, 1. Just remember, John would use for all of the grips 3, 2, and 1 where at all possible. Okay, and the last chord in the sequence there, F major, which is 8th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret. Okay, so the very first part, 12, 10, 12, then 10, 9, 10, 7, 5, 4, 8, 7, 5. Second 4 bars, 12, 10, 9, just the straight minor triad, then 10, 9, 7, 7, 5, 4, and then 8, 7, 5, but this time he's playing the 5th fret on the second and a string as well as the 3rd string, okay, which makes it a F major 7 chord. Okay, harmonically it's an A minor 7, G7, E minor to F major, to A minor, to G, to E minor, to F major 7. Okay, so just check out whether you want to use your 3rd finger on those low notes. You know, I did practice it a bit the John Frusciante way, so which would be this. This stays the same, but using here 3, 2, 1 fingers, and then 3, 2, 1, and again. Okay, I just find it a little bit kind of slightly uncomfortable. It's a lot easier for me using my little finger. So try both of those things. And remember, you don't have to do it the way John does it or the way I do it. You should do the one that's comfortable for you to play the song well, is what I recommend. So that's the intro. Now, it's important to realize that the verses are kind of based off of the same thing. They're all kind of following this little harmonic movement there, these triad shapes, okay? But it gets a little bit more fancy. The first riff on the A minor. Okay, so 12, 10, 9, 10, okay? Just the same triad that we've got there in the 5th bar, but we play the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 4th string, then we play 12, 10, 9, little finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger. Again, John would be stretching out and not using his little finger, okay? But a lot easier that way, I think. So the count, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and. Okay, but just easier to listen to the record and copy the record rather than trying to count. But for those of you that want to count, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So again, it's the G triad, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 4th string, then 10, 9, 7. Okay, again, John would be not using little finger. As far as I can tell from watching videos as well, I haven't seen full close-up, just glimpses of his hand during live performances, but I think I've probably got it right, I reckon. So those first two. Then this E minor is the same pattern as the A minor was up here, this. We got this. Okay, 7, 5, 4, 5, 7, 5, 4. Then for the F, really nice little move this. We play 8, 7, 5. Then 3rd finger goes down in the 7th fret, still on the 3rd string, and slides up 2 frets to the 9th fret. Then we play the 7th fret with the 1st finger and little finger, or 3rd finger if you're doing John Way, on the 10th fret of the 4th string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's check out those first 4 bars again, nice and slow. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, second time, very slight variation. Okay, so 12, 10, 9, 10, 12. Instead of, he goes, moves the note there with the 2nd finger onto the 2nd string. Then same, Last time he's got this little finger, and I think I can actually see John using his little finger for a change. So 8th fret, then first finger's got to stretch right back to the 4th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. I always used to play it. Okay, it's a simpler way. If you don't want to do the stretch. 8th fret, 8th fret, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the 9 and 10 being on the 4th string, the 8 being on the note F, which is the 5th string. But you can see clearly in a few of the videos, including the Slane Castle jobby, that he's stretching back. I mean, it does tend to sound a little bit better, which is an interesting thing with John's playing, is he tends to pick the notes where they sound best, which is a very good plan. Let me play through that verse now all of the way through. So we've got this. 3, 4. Okay, the next verse is exactly the same as that last pattern was, and then we get to the chorus. Chorus is real simple, right? D chord, open, regular D chord. Fly away on my Zephyr, it's held for 2 bars. Then regular old bog standard folk G, just the 3-fingered one, not the heavy rock version, just the 3-fingered one. Then to an A chord. Pretty sure John's using a first finger bar there and muting the thinner string, but again, it wouldn't really matter if you played that way and played that open string. It does that twice. And in this perfect weather, G and A together. Okay, then we got another verse, we got another chorus, the same as that, and then the second verse, he changes. It's still the same chords, but instead of just doing the big strums, he's playing 8th note strumming. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But he also changes the bar chord. So instead of playing the open D, seems like he's moving to the D chord at the 5th fret. So first finger in the 5th fret of the 5th string. Third finger barring strings 2, 3 and 4 at the 7th fret. If you're struggling with these bar chords like this, you want to go and check out the intermediate course on my website, which teaches this stuff. The G chord, John generally plays kind of Hendrix style. So thumb playing the bass note, third finger playing the 5th fret, this is a G chord, 5th fret of the 4th string, second finger playing the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and first finger playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Doesn't sound like he's laying it over, but he might be. And an A chord. Okay, same thing as the G moved up. I would sometimes play G like that and then A. It doesn't really matter. They should more or less sound the same. Okay, but remember the rhythm now is different. So and there's this little movement just happens there in this second part of the chorus. So my emotion, all the world can pass me by. Fly away on my Zephyr, I'll leave you more than ever. Okay, so just remember it's a different rhythm. On the original recording, there's quite a few layers of guitar going on at that point, so I'm pretty sure there's still the open chords version. So you could stay, if you're struggling with bar chords, you could stay with the open chords and just change up the strumming. Just that little is happening on beats 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't happen the second time, I should point out. We're together, because we're going into the solo. Now the solo is pretty simple. I'm going to show you what it is. It might not be exactly what he does because there's a few little things where he drops notes here and there and I'm struggling to remember it and I haven't written it all out for you. But if you listen to it and with what I've shown you here, you'll pick it up in no time. So it's quite simply thinner string, 12, 10, 12, 12, 10, 12, 12th fret semitone bend, release to 10th fret. Okay. Then back to the 10th fret, 10, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12. The little semitone ghost bend. That was a bit flat. Anyway. Okay, now, as I said, there's a couple of extra notes here and there that I may have added in or left out. Just listen to the original recording. That's the notes. It's just a couple of them might be played in extra time. I'm sorry I didn't tab it all out for you. But the very last... you're definitely hearing finishing on this note, which sounds great, but it makes it very awkward to transition to the next kind of part of the chord sequence. So you might want to leave off that... It's got to be in real speed. Means you've got to really jump quickly to this A minor chord. So I tend to leave that off, but on the original, again, it's layers. So that's why he can... And not have to be in a scramble to get to the next chord. And the next chord sequence is using the same chords that we've been using all the way along. If you're doing a beginner's version, you would just be playing A minor to G, to E minor, to F. But there's a couple of interesting things that he's doing here, or appears to be doing. He's using the Jimi Hendrix style chords, so the A minor chord, third finger in the 7th fret of the 4th string, first finger barring thinnest 3 strings at the 5th fret, thumb playing the bass note, 5th string is muted. Then we go to the G, again 3rd fret muted, 5th fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. But to go to the E minor, open chords really kind of clang in a different way to bar chords, and I think, at least it sounds like, I think I caught a glimpse of him doing this, which is a really nice way of playing an E minor chord if you've got loads of bar chords, and that's the open thicker string, muting the 5th string, and then 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, okay? It's actually the same notes as the thinnest 3 strings, but because they're not open strings, they don't kind of jangle in the same way as open strings do, and therefore it kind of sounds more consistent as a part to my ears, and I think that's what he's doing. So A minor, G, and from the G just add little finger down in the 5th fret of the 2nd string. We're muting the thinner string now and the 5th string, so open, nothing, 5th, 4th, 5th. That would be your E minor to the F. Yeah, 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 yeah. Na, 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 won't you? Yeah, 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 yeah. Fly away on my Zephyr. Then we're back into the chorus. It leaves you more than ever. Again, it's twice through that sequence for a chorus. The D's held for 2 bars, G for 1 bar, the A. Then it does the bar chords again. And when I feel my emotion, G, all the world can A, G, A, D. Fly away on my Zephyr, G, I'm gonna A together. Another beautiful part from John here. I love the way he does guitar layers, really superb stuff. So this is just a regular D chord. He's doing this little picking pattern, playing 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string. Okay, and then he adds a little sus chord on the 3rd one. So D, D, D sus, back to D twice. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. G, so just 4th fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. A, D, G, A. Okay, the picking pattern on the G. Just 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, third, second, because that's enough. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, sometimes I'm not sure about that 4 and note, or you might just be leaving that out and going. Can't really, there's so many things going on in that mix that it's hard to tell exactly which of those things is happening. But again, get your ears onto it as well, and hopefully that'll solve the whole song for you. I really hope you dig playing this tune. I think there's a few challenging little moments, especially if you want to use the kind of Frusciante fingering there, because it's a bit stretchy. It doesn't really work great for me. I can do it, but it's one of those things that you've got to find a balance between playing the way that your idols play and trying to figure out why they might be doing that versus doing the things that are easy and comfortable for you to do. It's a battle that I have all the time when I'm learning other people's tunes. In this particular tune, I'm pretty sure John's doing it because the third finger can be then consistently on the same string all of the way through, which is something that he seems to do a bit. I think it could be consistency of tone, which probably makes a difference. I remember when I first learned this tune, before I'd even got into video research or anything, this is years ago when it came out, I was playing it like down here on the different sets of strings completely. I also thought I heard a different, I imagined in my mind, even though I transcribed it, I somehow managed to find some extra notes that didn't exist when I went through and did it really carefully. So, a bit of forensic listening on your part is going to help. Definitely listening to it over and over again and trying to dissect exactly what's going on and trying to copy the sounds, the tone, which I should talk about because I always forget to talk about it. So I'll put all of this up on the website and trying to, add tone tips on the website as often as I can. The guitar is going into a compressor. This particular compressor is made by Origin Effects and it's called a Cali 76. I'll put the settings up on the website, but it's basically kind of 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock on the top row, then 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock on the bottom row, very roughly. It's going into then a Strymon timeline. There's just a very little bit of delay. Da, 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 da. Really what I hear on the record is that the kind of the reverb seems to be pulsing in the delay, and I haven't quite got that, but it's getting close. So I'll put the settings again of the timeline up onto the website or at least how many milliseconds I'm using and what the repeats are. But every delay unit is a little different, so you've got to try and find one that's the big deal with it. Really, if you're going to use delay, is making sure that the mix is right down because you don't want it too loud. I'm hitting it quite hard so you can hear those repeats, but in the real, you're not hearing jing 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 like really obvious. It's a bit more subtle. And I've got quite a lot of reverb. The reverb's coming from a Strymon Big Sky. The mix is set at nearly 12 o'clock. I'm using a plate reverb. Just trying to look at the decay is kind of 12 o'clock. The pre-delay is about 11 o'clock. Tone is 3 o'clock. The two parameters are set at 12 o'clock and the mod is set at about 1 o'clock. So, but again, you just work with the stuff that you got. And I think it's really important that you learn to use your ears for that stuff. And especially on that particular track, you've got that thing at the beginning where he plays the notes really clearly. So you've got a delay afterwards so you can listen out to, what's the reverb sound like? What does your guitar sound like? And when I was trying to get the sound for this, I was literally just playing that little bit and then I'd muck around on the guitar and try and figure out, how to make my guitar sound like his. I'm fairly sure that he's using the front pickup on a Strat for this song. I'm using these two pickups. I've got a problem with the studio at the moment with this magnetic noise. I'm not sure I don't know if you can hear that, if it'll come through. But there's this like high-pitched whistly kind of noise, which is created by some train lines behind my studio, which is causing me loads of problems at the moment. But particularly using the compressor, it really brings that out. So in order to avoid that, I've had to use those two pickups together because somehow the phase cancellation of those two pickups gets rid of the noise. But if I was anywhere else in the world, I'd be using just the front pickup, okay, before the compressor, delay, reverb, and then I'm plugged into a Kemper profiler, and I'm using a profile by Michael Britt, and it's the 67 Deluxe Reverb 4 is the exact profile of his that I'm using. I must recommend his profiles. Of all of the profiles I've used for the Kemper Profiler, I tend to favour the Brit ones. They all seem superb, particularly the vintage pack ones are the ones I tend to use the most often. So there's a pretty comprehensive little rig rundown for you, and hope you enjoy playing this tune and learning the lesson. God, stumbling over myself a little bit. I'm a bit tired. Anyway, you didn't need to know that. And now I'm rambling like a silly old man. It was my birthday the other day, so I'm feeling old, very old. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you dig what I do. Lovely way to say happy birthday to me as well. Just click that subscribe button because I really appreciate it. And remember, there's more than 1,000 free lessons over on the website, so go and check that out. And I'll put the settings up and some other tips for this tune over on the website. I'll see you for more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.